All right, here we are, live. Just going to let LinkedIn catch up here. Just give me a second here. All right, LinkedIn is caught up. Facebook, definitely live. All right, hey, welcome everybody. Corona Chronicles, lockdown, big milestone show right here. Thanks for being here. Day 100. Day 100, 100 days ago, we went to lockdown. March 17th was my first day here in the bunker. You guys are very familiar with the bunker at this point. I believe this is my 12th or maybe even 13th show. 100. I can't believe that we've been locked down this long. And just to prepare you all, if you're new to the show, I just want to remind you what it means. What does the lockdown mean? Lockdown's over there, I guess. Lockdown means until everybody is released and back to work and allowed, Americans, entrepreneurs and business owners allowed to open up their businesses, I'm considering us on a lockdown. This is day 100, unprecedented. I mean, America's a free country, and here we are. We're telling business owners, we're picking and choosing which businesses are allowed to open and which ones are not allowed to open. If you remember, masks, social distancing, the little spots on the floor. From day one, you were allowed to do that in Costco or in a food store or in a liquor store, but you were not allowed to do that in a mom and pop furniture store. Excuse me, in a furniture store, in a boutique, in a sporting goods store. You literally they were not allowed. They were banned from opening. So that's why I call it a lockdown. Obviously, we are now free to move about the cabin, which is fantastic. We're allowed to get out there. Some outdoor things are open. And here we are on day 100. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you are out there, or if you're on replay, do me a favor. Give me say something. Tell me where you're watching from in the comments, so I can see it. And if you're on replay, I'll come back. I'd love to know where the audience is tonight. This is a new date, new time. So no longer doing Saturday at 12 noon. Just can't do it anymore. As much as I love doing this show. Saturdays at 12 noon here on the South Shore of Long Island. It's time to get out to the beach now that they're open, get in the pool with the family, and relax and unwind a little bit. So I am going to be here regularly Wednesday nights, 6 o'clock. Want you to join me. But of course, anytime you can join in on replay and you could watch, or you can go to my YouTube channel. Just search Frank Morizio on YouTube. You'll find the Corona Chronicles playlist, and you could see any of the shows. And just to remind you, so what I'm really here to do on Corona Chronicles is to let everybody know that somebody on LinkedIn just said no sound. If you're on Facebook, let me know if you do have sound. LinkedIn is saying no sound. Sometimes it's a little wonky on the LinkedIn platform. They're not really as advanced with the live technology. Ding Sheet, thanks for letting me know. Please let me know if you have sound now. Okay, not really sure. We'll get to that in a little bit. Sorry, nothing I can do about that on the LinkedIn platform. It's external for me. All right, so here we go. So let's get into it. Nassau County. For those of you who don't know, Nassau County is the first county east of the city of New York, the 5 boroughs of New York. We share a border with Queens. We are the second largest county in the state, behind New York City, and we have about 1.36 million residents. As of Friday, which is the last numbers that we have updated, 80 people in the hospitals with positive for COVID. So as of Friday, only 80 people in the hospitals. That's an extremely positive statistic. Only 3 people passed away from COVID on Friday. Unfortunately, we are over about 2,400 total residents that have passed in the county, but the numbers are dramatically better. As a matter of fact, New York right now has the lowest rate per capita of COVID infections. We've done an amazing job. Let me say, you guys have done an amazing job of distancing, of being safe, of washing up, sanitizing, wearing your masks, and all the great things that you guys are doing. We are down over 90% in daily in hospitalizations since April 21st, which is the peak. So that is pretty amazing. Speaking of amazing, I have an amazing guest that's going to join me in a couple of minutes. She's back there in the green room getting ready to come on. And I can't wait to introduce her to you. She's a longtime friend of mine, and she has some really interesting things to add to this conversation. So let me say some hellos at this point. Ben Cooper's out there. Of course, Janina is out there. Again, Lance Maiden is watching. Hey, Lance. Lance has a friend in common, and that's my guest. Dingshi, if you're still out there on LinkedIn, please let me know if the sound did come on. And without further ado, I want to bring my guest onto the show. And I want to say that we worked together for a little bit back in the day, probably about a dozen years ago. We're both Brooklyn folks, and we've been just really good friends ever since, even though we've been distanced from each other. She has transitioned her career to become an amazing real estate agent, and she's helping folks not only within Brooklyn and the city of New York, but outside the suburbs and going north, which we're definitely going to talk about. And I'm just going to bring her in and let's start chatting. So here she is. Without further ado, my good friend Janine Acquafredda, and there she is.
Hello.
Hey, Janine, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm, day 100. I think I told you a little bit earlier. It's a little warm in here. No air conditioning in the bunker. So I'm going to stay hydrated and make sure I'll probably start sweating at some point. Oh, my brother Ed Colon is out there. I don't know if you could hear me when you were in the green room. So our friend in common, Lance Maiden, is out there watching. I know that.
Oh, wow. How do you know Lance?
Lance is involved in an organization called Veterans of New York, which is very similar to the Marines of New York organization that I run. So Lance and I have kind of our circles are overlapping, as they say. So it's always good to see Lance out there, and he's always a supporter. So welcome, Janine. Thanks for coming on. So a couple of reasons why I wanted you on today. One, definitely because just like me, I mean, you've been vocal since the beginning on the captivity that we've basically been held under. The seemingly arbitrary random measuring sticks. You can go to this business, you can't go to that business, and then the constant changing of the rules. So today is another milestone in addition to day 100. Today is also the opening of phase 3 in Nassau County. So phase 3 means that our friends in the restaurant industry could now have 50% capacity indoors, and nail salons are open. So I hope ladies out there are getting their stuff done. And most significantly, houses of worship are back open. 25% capacity, but you can go to your shul, you can go to your temple, your church, your mosque, wherever it is that you want to go. You can finally go back there. So I thought that's really important. New York City, live TV, phone ringing. New York City, you guys are still in phase 2, right? Tell me what's going on in New York right now.
So we entered phase 2 on Monday, the day before Election Day. How convenient. And I was able to actually go back to work, which to me is incredible because, as a realtor, you can show a home to one person, wearing your full PPE, keeping social distance very safely, very effectively. But since March, we haven't been able to do that. So it's been really funny in real estate because when they did the lockdown, they said we were essential. Right. And that we could work. Actually, I'm sorry. They said we were not essential. That lasted about until you guys started applying for unemployment.
Right.
Correct. So within 48 or 72 hours, I can't remember because that's when I really went crazy. I wasn't even crazy over the lockdown. I was crazy because I was being told I couldn't work. And to me, it didn't make any sense that I could work at Home Depot and be in contact with thousands of people a day, but I couldn't work in my profession where I could be with one person a day. I mean, I could, maybe I see 10 people a week, depending on how qualified they are and how many properties I have for sale. Anyway, it made no sense to me. So that's when I really started going crazy. And when we all started flooding unemployment with calls and inquiries, and You know, and the city was like, holy crap, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we
We
didn't think of
became
that.
essential. No, they didn't think about a lot of things.
Yeah, but I mean, you
So
became essential, but the rules were so onerous that you couldn't show. You became virtual. Doesn't work that
yeah,
way, and
not at
you were
all.
essentially out of business and not
Yep.
able to collect benefits, which is not at all in any spirit of the entrepreneurial America that I grew up in. Certainly
Not
not
at
at all.
all.
And I know you were vocal on that, and that was we had some interactions on it, and of course I saw you and my other friends in real estate as what are they doing here? Like they're literally banned from working, yet not eligible for benefits. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. So
Yeah,
now you're
it
cleared
wasn't
for takeoff.
only, yeah, it was not only, you know, our inability to work, it was also me as a property owner in New York City
Right.
looking forward and saying, wait a second, the city makes most of its revenue off of real estate. What the heck is my portfolio going to look like after all of this? So I
Exactly.
was being slammed in every direction. I was being slammed as an entrepreneur who just wanted to work. I was being slammed as a property owner who knew,
Right.
and it's coming to light right now because right, the I guess the fiscal year is coming to an end and the
Hmm.
budget's going to be announced in a few days, and they're already warning us property taxes are going to go through the roof.
Right.
So as somebody in real estate, as a profession, as an investor, I know that, wow, I'm in big trouble, and I saw that from the first 72 hours.
And also, I mean, the rent guidelines board came out and they froze rents in the city too. So now,
I
plus
got
all the,
screwed there also
of
because
course,
of course, I have tenants that are small business owners that
right,
stopped paying their rent.
right.
So I couldn't, you know, I had to cover their rent as well. It was just, it really, New York City became an entrepreneur's worst nightmare.
It's been a debacle since day one, and you happen to be you're like the perfect storm, right? So you couldn't work. You're an investor. You're an entrepreneur. You can't collect rents. Now property taxes, utilities, everything else is going up on you. It's your rents are frozen. If you're even collecting, there's an abatement process.
Evictions are on pause.
There's no evictions.
Um,
You cannot balance. I'm going to talk right to your mayor right now. You can't balance the entire city on the backs of the entrepreneurs. It just doesn't work that way because you know what happens? They all get up and they go. What's going on with real estate in New York City right now, Janine? How many people left New York in the past 3 months?
Almost 500,000 have left New York. We don't know if that's a permanent move, if that's a temporary move, but 500,000 people, close to 500,000. I think the exact number a few weeks ago was 420,000 have
Yep.
left New York City or New York State. And it's in terms of, look, I just got back to work yesterday. I've been trying to work this whole time. But again, how do you
What you
sell a
do?
house when you can't show a house?
Right.
So I've been getting listings. I've got lots of listings. I've got no buyers. And so that's going to be the next hurdle. There are lots of people who want to leave. They want to buy upstate. They want to buy. I mean, there are some states that really stand out as constants that come up in my phone conversations, but they've got to sell before they can buy.
Right.
If they
Right.
can't sell, they can't buy. So all these states that are like, woohoo, our real estate market's hot. Yeah, those are people that didn't have to sell. Those are people that were already planning a move. But you're going to hurt just as bad as New York City. Just like we were suffering with the COVID and now they're the hot spots,
Right.
that's going to happen in real estate also.
Wow. What about where do people where do you see people going to? Where's the mass exodus? I know that a lot of people moved into their summer places out in the Hamptons or out in Suffolk County, but people
Yep.
that are actually renters that are now buying, like where are the buyers going? What do you think?
Hudson Valley for sure.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot, and I don't know if I'm getting a lot of calls there because I own a home there, but I know that as much as I could escape there, I escaped there. I mean,
What's the
anything to get out of
town?
here.
Green.
I'm
What's
in
the
Greenwood Lake.
Greenwood Lake? I mean, I've been
I'm in
seeing you.
Greenwood Lake.
You've been promoting Greenwood Lake for years since you bought up there, and
I love it.
every time I see it, it's more and more beautiful. And I say to myself, "Oh, I would love to leave and get up there." But
It's
there's a
amazing.
lot of challenges there. But I would love to get up there. And from what I understand, you
Well,
also
you are welcome anytime.
you have inventory up there too, right? So you have listings up there, and you're available. You can show them now
I
too.
have listings up there. I'm available. Yeah, I can. I've been able to show up there for about a month now. We entered phase 2 the same time you guys entered phase 2 because we're Orange County. So yeah, lots of people looking to the Hudson Valley region. Yep, lots of people looking to the Hudson Valley region. Lots of people, Florida. You know, Florida,
no doubt.
Always a hot spot for New Yorkers. But I'm hearing some new ones too. You know, aside from the typical Florida, New Jersey, I'm hearing Tennessee, Nevada, South, you know, the Carolinas, which actually I had a few closings. You know, I work all over, so I had a few closings last year in Las Vegas and in Myrtle Beach.
I remember the Vegas one.
Colorado's coming up, Arizona.
I remember that Vegas one that you flew in for. That was awesome. You surprised your buyer, right?
Yeah, I sure did. So, you know, there are some places that I expect people to move, but then there are some places that are like, all right, Fort Worth has been coming up like crazy the last 2 months. I'm like, okay, I guess Texas is getting hot. I don't know. Anywhere but here.
Makes sense. Let me stop you for a second there. Let's say some hellos because a lot more folks hopped on. Vladimir Villamon, another Marine Corps brother, is there. Christina Iacono out in Staten Island. Julie is here out in Long Beach. Lisa's my neighbor. She's here. Mark from my office is somewhere. He's either on the left coast or the right coast. Mark, if you're still on, let me know if you're on the left coast or the right coast. Matt Ruffini's out in Staten Island. Hey, Ed Colon is asking if realtors can show houses in New York City and Staten Island now. Yeah, you can, right? Today's the day. Phase 2?
We are in phase 2 for the last 2 days. We can show properties. However, there's a list this long. Can you see my hands? No, because it's that long.
Your arms are not very long.
Sellers can, no, but the list is, so full PPE, 6 feet apart. Sellers cannot be there. Before they enter the property, they have to sign their life away. So yesterday I had a full afternoon of appointments, and 100% of them got canceled because they did not want to sign these COVID release forms. So yes, the city is telling us you can work, and then the restrictions are just, it's like handcuff us a little more. Why don't you?
Yeah, I mean, compliance is always a challenge in every business, especially in this, this litigious society that we're in. But this one seems like it seems, this can't be, I don't want to believe this is it. It seems as though at every turn, though, the government is trying to scare us back into our homes and out of our normal life. I mean, I mentioned it before in the open, but I'm going to say it again. New York State now, lowest in the country in COVID testing rate. So we're not testing less, so we're getting less. We're testing tens of thousands, and our percentage positive rate is less than 1%. For instance, Friday, 59,000 tests in the state of New York, 575 people positive, less than 1%. We've made a 90% reduction in our hospitalizations since the peak, yet you don't see that, not on a headline, not on a page 6, not on a page 12. You just don't see it. All you see is the surge in this state, the surge in that state. It's coming back, phase 2, wave 3. I don't know, all these scary terms they're coming up with. I don't understand what the motivation is. Why are you trying to scare everybody back into their homes? We're free Americans. Release us from captivity. We're not the ones that are sick. Quarantine people that are not well, not healthy people. No civilization on earth has ever done this before. It's a little wacky. Sorry, I got on my soapbox there for a second. Who else is out there? Audier is also out there. Another Marine Corps brother, Stephen Dagger, one of my neighbors, Dino J. And then on LinkedIn, another Marine Corps brother, my J.R. Valasek. Oh, there you go. So he's moving. He's buying a house in Virginia. He just said, in the process of buying a home in Virginia, sight unseen. Not ideal, but knows where he wants to go. So, boom, going. Got to be crazy to be a real estate agent right now. It's got to be, I don't know. This is a brave new world here. How do you adapt?
Well, like I said, since day one, I've been trying to work. So I tried to maintain some sort of normalcy just with regards to when we do open, I'm going to have this inventory to show.
Sure.
But it has not been easy. It hasn't been easy. And I think, besides I'm the perfect storm, financially, how I got hit from every angle, it's I look ahead and I see how hard it's going to continue to be because of the mistakes that we made in the beginning. This is not about real estate agents not being able to work for a few months. This is about real estate being locked down, small businesses being shut down, not paying their rent, tenants being unemployed, not being able to pay their rent, the storefronts that are shuttering, not just because, not just because of COVID, but because they will not be able to open again. And what the city is going to look like. And so I think that's really had my anxiety at like an all-time high, thinking about the future. The future does not look good for New York City.
And of course, let's not forget the 18 days or so of massive demonstrations throughout the city, some of them peaceful, some of them not so much. So, I mean, if there were businesses that
unbelievable
hope, if they even had a hope of coming back, some have just been, destroyed, burned to the ground, looted, and everybody says, oh, it's the insurance companies, it's insurance companies. I've been in the insurance business for 24 years. It really doesn't work that way. The insurance company doesn't really make you whole. It doesn't. Right. It's demoralizing. People in the city of New York, especially immigrants, have come all over the world for the opportunity to open up a business in the city of New York, work their whole lives, in some cases their entire life savings, maybe failed once or twice, but they're still there. And now, no shot of coming back. I've been talking about this Forbes article. It's got to be 6 weeks ago now. Article in Forbes said 58% of businesses, small businesses in the United States will not recover from COVID. I mean, what?
I said at the beginning, I don't think 70% in New York City will come back. And you're right about the protesting gone wild. I watched this video in the Bronx, and it was heart-wrenching of, just small business owners. And it was interesting because they interviewed some of these small business owners. They had already moved out of New York City. They weren't even living in New York City, but they kept their businesses in their communities. That's done, over with. A lot of people have been able to stay afloat online sales, and they're like, why are we going to come back? Property taxes are going to go up. That means my rent's going to go up. My utilities are going to go up. Oh, and God forbid, I double park my car to bring inventory in. I'm going to get ticketed because all of our fines are going to go up. I mean, no, it's going to be double. Every fine, every kind of, penalty that they can give us will double. They'll be on the patrol. It's going to be really, really a poor quality of life in New York City after this.
It's another regressive tax on the middle class, not to mention with both the Long Island Railroad and the New York City subways being essentially empty for the last 100 days. Where do you think those fares are going? I mean, come on.
Well, everyone's driving now, right? So you can expect that those fees are going to go up. Right. Traffic violations, those red light cameras, parking, everything. I mean, even, these poor property owners that haven't been able to collect rent because their tenants couldn't pay rent, they're going to be going through our garbage looking for a reason to give us a ticket. You better believe it.
A little crazy. Let me shift gears a little bit. Let me say a couple of other hellos. Let's see who else is out there. Dino J's out there. Wow, the Marines just love coming on here. By the way, one of my Marine Corps brothers just texted me something about like a whistle and a wink and pointing at you. So just saying, you have some fans out there. You're definitely better looking than my Marine Corps brother that I had on as a guest last week. Peter Mignon's out there. Matt Katusco's out there. Matt's a friend of ours in common from Brooklyn. Mike Gregoretti is out here. He's in real estate. Mike's out in real estate here in Nassau County. Mike, if you're still on, let me know. Let me know what's going on out here in Nassau County. And of course, Seth Blau is always on. He's my best. He always tunes in. He's great. So I want to do one other segment, right? Because I always try to keep this to 30 minutes, keep everybody engaged. So the theme throughout my 100 days here has always been, it's a lockdown. There's some shitty stuff going on. There's some scary stuff going on. But after my first two shows, I realized that my platform here, what I can do with this platform is I can talk about the good that's going on during lockdown. And I've done my very best to do that along the way. I've had some amazing guests, and I count you in that company. And one of the other reasons why I've respected you over all these years is that, you live by morizio-ism number one, which is doing something actually means doing something. You're not trying to do stuff. You don't talk about doing stuff. You go out and do it. And what I'm talking about in particular is your animal activism. So tell me a little bit about that. How'd you get involved? Of course, I mean, you had the most beautiful dog on earth, and what a love affair that you had with him. And I'm so sorry that he's gone. But tell me, was that what motivated you to become so active with the animal world? Tell me.
Not at all. My dog was not my dog. My dog was my baby. So I didn't even see him as a dog.
Right.
What motivated me was just realizing, first of all, I had some time on my hands, and I said, what could I do with my extra time? And so I volunteered at an animal shelter, walking dogs,
Right.
petting cats, simple little things like that.
But you're
And
doing
I
stuff. You're not talking about it. You're doing it. I love that.
absolutely doing
Respect it.
stuff. And I said, where are all these animals coming from? And landlords don't want animals. And that, as a realtor, that just resonated with me. It's like, wait, as a realtor, I'm the boss. So landlord's not me.
Right.
Educate realtors how to be the boss in these situations. It's not, will you accept animals? It's, how many animals will you accept, right? So I started a nonprofit and I called it Realtors for Rescues. And basically, I just went around educating realtors on getting landlords to say yes to pets. 90% of animals end up in shelters because of landlord-tenant issues. And that's something that doesn't need to happen.
Right. Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible.
The good thing that came out of COVID is animal shelters are cleaned out.
They are empty. They are empty.
They're empty.
Yeah. My family has been killing me for a dog for about 1.5 years. I don't know how I've resisted it this long. Now that we're kind of opened up again, once there are some dogs back out there at rescues, I got to get out there. We got to get a dog because,
that would be incredible.
Eventually, it's got to be like my companion.
Oh, it's going to become your best friend.
Yeah, I mean,
in minutes.
Yeah, my son is 16. He'll be off to college in 2 years. My daughter's 12. She'll be a teenager and she'll be much more interested in her friends soon. And the way she dances all over the country like crazy. And my wife and I, we're about to celebrate our 25th anniversary in August, and she doesn't like me so much all the time. So maybe having a dog would be a good friend for me.
Well, it'll be a good friend for you, and I know how she likes to stay fit. It'll help her stay in shape. She'll be walking the dog. You have a built-in dog sitter with me whenever you need one, so don't worry about that.
No doubt. And you have your season pass to the pool and bar at Villa Maurizio, which is available anytime. Just show up. The gate's always open. I'm not giving the address because I know my Marine Corps brothers will show up unannounced. So you know what? I want to finish up with this, right? So day 100, we got here. Nassau County, we started phase 3. Phase 4 is supposed to begin. And now here we go. Cuomo already comes out and says, not so fast. We reconsidered malls, movies, gyms, not so much. You're not opening. So again, how frustrating, how oppressive to a business owner that you've gone through all the steps, you've survived. However it is that you made it to here, you're prepared. You're ready to sanitize. You've retrained your employees. You made whatever spatial adjustments that you need to make. You're getting ready for this open that's been promised to you. And now it's like, not so much. It's not even data-based. It's not fact-based. It's presumptive. It's got to be really, really frustrating to be a business owner that in that situation in those industries. And then
I've already said it. I can only be shut down once. I can only be shut down once. I don't care what changes. First of all, I don't know where these metrics came from. This was never supposed to be the case. It was supposed to be a flattening of the curve. It became like
waiting for the cure.
Flattened curve, not a flattening, a flattened curve, or whatever you want to call the steep decline. Yeah, waiting for the cure. It's just ridiculous, and I can't be shut down again. Business owners have to get real creative without getting in trouble, but it's ridiculous.
And that's a good point. And I hope that by now, that they've gotten the message in Albany and they've gotten the message, in Gracie Mansion. I know that here in Nassau County, they've gotten the message, and I've talked up our county executive a couple of times, and she's a Democrat. Don't pass out, but I've talked her up because when Cuomo said, okay, you could have, 25 people gather or 50 people or 100 people for a graduation. She's like, hell no, superintendents, we can do better than that. We have tons of space out here. We're not in the middle of the city. Send me proposals. We'll make it work. So she's working to get us, to set us free. And I can tell you this, there's no relockdown. There's no second wave going back to closings. It's not going to happen here in Nassau County. I know the climate of my neighbors. You want to see people protesting? How about an entire county out in the street all at once? Because we're not going to go back. I'm with you. I'm with you, Janine. Yeah, that's pretty much my stand on that. So we're in lockstep there. Let me just see if there's anybody else to say hello to. I did not get the question from Michael to talk about real estate on Nassau County. Not really sure how it's going out here. Let me ask you this. So
it's going very well. It's going very well.
Good to know. Good to know.
I've got a network of 14,000 agents across the country that I work with, and Long Island is doing very well. So that's great news for New York. Not New York City, but whatever. We're all friends.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What? All right. So let me ask you one last question. So now that you can go outdoor dine and the weather is beautiful, where are you going?
Yeah. I'm going out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, trying to support my small business owner.
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah, friends. And I will say that I have seen some things that I don't like, that I just think, okay, well, I do think a lot of this was overblown, but let's be smart. Because if you're not smart, then we're all going to get shut down. So, but for the most part, it's been great. People are so happy to be back out. I mean, it's just to keep us locked down that way. I mean, I hate to use this word, but it was cruel. It was cruel on so many levels, and
yeah,
so it's been great, and everyone seems really excited.
Yeah, I'll go with you on the cruel angle there because and also with kids, I mean, it was, to call it a trying time doesn't even begin to explain what must have gone through children of all ages minds. The fear, the separation, the depression, the uncertainty. It had to be a mixed bag of emotions all across the board, and I'm sure very challenging to the kids. So, for those of you out there that have kids, do something extra nice for them. As much as we've been through as adults and we know how to process, they've been through so much more and maybe don't know how to process. And, if you need resources, if you need help facilitating those conversations, please reach out to me. I will connect you. We have a vast network of people that can help you, both for you, right? You're an adult and you're not feeling so good. You need some mental health, let me know. Or if you have children, and I will help facilitate conversations and get you some resources. I promise I'll do that. And with that, I want to say, Janine, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest.
You're welcome. This was so much fun. Thanks for having me.
I enjoyed this conversation. I appreciate you helping me look better over here on the screen. You definitely upgraded the view, and we definitely helped viewers for a longer time. So I'm going to credit you with that. This was Lockdown Day 100. You can see going across the bottom of the screen now. Corona Chronicles Lockdown will continue at this new day and time, Wednesday, 6 p.m. I made a commitment to you. I'm going to keep this show going until everybody gets released. I'm not talking about phase 4 with an asterisk. I'm talking about everybody in this state gets to go back to running their businesses in the same entrepreneurial spirit in which they open their businesses. So I'm committed to doing that with you, and I hope that you will come back. If you're watching the replay and you have a question, please throw it down there. I'll stop in every day on the comments and answer you or get in touch. So again, Janine, thank you so much. I'm signing off. Good to see everybody. Come back next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Bye-bye.
Bye.